Well, we're just at the cusp of the 5G revolution. The real magic lies in the fact that it's the first network that is truly machine-to-machine network. So a lot of the innovation, a lot of the applications will lie in how it empowers other sectors, other businesses to provide completely different services in a way that neither fiber nor 4G would allow them to do. The fact that we can divide up and provide different characteristics of how the network interacts with those businesses basically allows them then to drive their innovation, to have more reliability of the network services that they then build on top of the applications that they innovate on top of that connectivity. So it unlocks innovation in the application layer specific for the needs of different businesses, which is fundamentally what drives productivity and growth. Mobile networks basically consist of two parts. It's the antenna part and it's the core network. So all generations of mobile networks, 2G, 3G, 4G and 5G, has those two parts. What makes 5G standalone different and why it is considered to be a step change is the fact that we're not only changing the antenna and making it more capable and far better at connecting a multitude of devices per square kilometer, but we're also completely revamping the core network. And that drives a fundamentally different, more reliable, much more resilient, and importantly, with much lower latency. So the speed by which the network communicates with your device, the way that it connects up with a public transport system or an individual who's traveling on the transport system will be with much lower latency. And that's what then unlocks huge opportunities of innovating in various applications onto the 5G standalone in a manner that wasn't possible with the previous generations. Just as when we launched 4G or when we roll out fiber, there is a time lag before people actually pick it up. Also dependent on them understanding the type of usage that they need, for which they then need to upgrade their network. I think it's important to highlight, however, that 5G, the real magic lies in the fact that it's the first network that is truly machine-to-machine network. So a lot of the innovation, a lot of the applications will lie in how it empowers other sectors, other businesses, to provide completely different services in a way that neither fiber nor 4G would allow them to do. And that comes to things like precision farming, the way that we think around a smart city in the future. All of that will be dependent on the capability of a 5G network, which unfortunately 4G networks will just not be enough. Mobile private network is outside the public network, and it's basically a dedicated, closed environment. And it makes a lot of sense if you, for example, run a large factory. We have tried that with the Skoda factory or the Porsche factory. So if you have a large factory floor where you want a dedicated connectivity solution, mobile private network is one of the answers for you. For many SMEs, because of their size and because of the cost involved in building a dedicated network, this is not going to be their preferred solution. So we're trialing two different solutions for SMEs. One is that we work on providing them a network slice from the public network, which I think is going to be the way that we democratize dedicated connectivity traffic lanes for small and medium-sized companies. The other one is that we are developing a prototype for a cheap mobile private network for SMEs, which is not bigger than a box of this size, but that would actually allow them to build in a smaller environment, which in many cases is the case for SMEs, build their own mobile private network. It's called the 5G Raspberry Pi in terms of our prototype, and that would be a way of trying to democratize mobile private networks for SMEs. So what is unique about 5G standalone is the fact that the network becomes programmable. So we create separate lanes in the network dedicated for specific use cases. It makes an enormous difference in terms of having a general purpose network for everyone compared to being able to adapt the configuration of the network for specific needs. So if you think about the network becoming something which meets all the requirements of all different types of sector in the economy. For example, precision farming will have a different network requirement compared to a hospital. The fact that we can divide up and provide different characteristics of how the network interacts with those businesses basically allows them then to drive their innovation, to have more reliability of the network services that they then build on top, or the applications that they innovate on top of that connectivity. So it unlocks innovation in the application layer specific for the needs of different businesses, which is fundamentally what drives productivity and growth. What needs to change is the current reality, a reality where Europe, including the United Kingdom, finds itself falling behind in 5G and 5G standalone. It's now far behind the pioneering countries. Actually, no European country is among the top 10 countries worldwide when it comes to 5G rollout. So that's point number one. Point number two, ultimately, this is driven by an investment gap. There's not an adequate private investment to build out these networks. And that boils down to a question around the investment climate. Europe and the UK has not had adequately supportive investment climate and policies to support investment in this area. So that means point number three, what you need to do is regulatory change, policy change. The UK has, in a commendable way, set out a vision through its wireless strategy, wireless infrastructure strategy. This is something that we support. It actually has the right intent. It has the right set of policies envisaged under that strategy. And in Brussels today, there is an ongoing discussion, and we anticipate that Commissioner Breton in February will come out with a white paper setting a compass for the type of regulatory reforms that are required within the European Union to also move Europe into a situation where it attracts investment and starts rolling out at pace 5G.